Hey Outofbody Explorers! Today I want to talk about a waking world tragic event that happened to my neighborhood that is connected to my out-of-body exploration event with a light being extraterrestrial race that I met through this event. So let's talk about that today. Now, my number one thing is to remind you that the out-of-body exploration system is basically learning about yourself, and it's a continuation of it. It's basically jogging your memory of some of the events that you did in your lifetime. So I get a lot of like, what's my karma? Where have I been? But you can find that on your own, because jumping dimensions is going into that time where you have been. And so that's a really important part about this out-of-body exploration system. It's a no-frill system. It's a practice of you meeting your higher self and making contact to ascend as a human being. Now, I did this video in the summer and I didn't release it because I really didn't think I was ready to kind of tell everybody about this stuff, but it's getting to the point where, you know, God's telling me it's time, you gotta start telling these people this. So here's the story. I am at my house, the house that I grew up in, and I have a lot of out-of-bodies that happened to me, and I returned back to this house. Something that happened really tragic in my life when I grew up here. So I'm going to show you some scenes about it and my conclusion of what's going on. There are many out-of-bodies that I've had that had me coming back to my house. Now here's the story. I was 10 years old and a group of us wanted to go across the street to go into our sump and watch kids ride their mini bikes. Now the sump is a huge ditch where water would overflow, and there's about 800 of them in Nassau County, as well as in Suffolk County on Long Island. So there's a lot of them. And it was my favorite place in the world. I would go sleigh riding there with my friends. My mother would take me there when I was very little, and I would just be in there forever because I loved it. And it was a place where no cars would be going. But also, our sump had two sumps in there. There was a double sump. And everybody knew not to go to the other side. And there was a big tunnel system going through there, and I wasn't going to go there. So I never liked that spot. Now in Nassau County we have 800 sumps, and they still fund these sumps, and nobody has taken care of them now. And they're pretty overgrown, which is so ridiculous, because if they gave money in for that system, then why isn't it getting cleaned up? So it makes no sense to me, because I don't know, last time we flooded in Hicksville was never. So it was kind of weird to see that. So, you know, to me, it's always like a scam. I think everything's a scam, because basically, what are you doing with that money? Back to the story. Now, we wanted to watch these kids in the sump ride their mini bikes. And we were crossing the street, and I noticed that my friend did not look left or right, and she just ran across the street, and I watched her get hit by a green Nova, and she died instantly crossing that street. So it was really tragic for the whole community, because then later on we ended up picketing to have stop signs there. And till this day, I see a lot of dead people running around in my out-of-body situation. I have never seen her, ever. Now that happened on June 6th when I was 10 years old, coming out of this book. So on April 30th, 2020, I am pulled out of my body. And now remember, I don't live in Hicksville anymore, so I know that I'm being pulled and I'm being dragged over to Hicksville again. I show up on my front lawn that I grew up in. Not my 2020 lawn, my 1997 lawn, where there was more grass and there wasn't a huge driveway. So as I pull up, I already realize that there's an event going on at that moment. I see a couple of people, but I don't know them. They definitely don't know me either, so I feel. And as we are looking at each other, I hear kids screaming in the sump, "Help me, help me." And they're crying, and I'm like, oh my God. I look at these people and they stood still. They didn't want to help them for some reason. So I say to them, I'm going in to help them. And now I start running to the sump. I ran to the sump, I got there really quick, the gate is completely open. And all of a sudden, as I start running down the driveway of that sump, the huge black cloud shows up. It's a huge lion's head, probably standing around 80 to 100 feet. I look at it, but I'm running, and the lion's head opens up its mouth. As I enter in there, I hear the screaming stop. I feel I have saved them, and I wake up. And now I'm in this moment where I say, I want to see these children that I saved. I know I was running into a round hole tunnel, And I know that this race of extraterrestrials were standing on side of me. And then I finally hear, this is a resonance program to the lion's race, to the lion's den. What's the resonance program of the lion's race? Let's just break down the word resonance. Resonance in physics is defined as follows: a phenomenon in which an external force or a vibrating system forces another system around it to vibrate with greater amplitude at a specified frequency of operation. I have many more stories about these beings being in our lives. It's only a memory that I have, and there will be more. Not just my memories, but all of our memories. And that's why it's really important for you to really start jotting down all these AKA dreams that they say, because you will distinguish what a dream is to a real full-blown out-of-body. And I hate the fact that they keep saying it's astral projection. I list it as astral projection because it's the trending word, but in reality it's out-of-body exploration, jumping dimensions and seeing where you are and helping. So there's a lot of misconceptions of how this system is working, but as a person that practices it and wants to teach everybody to do it, I know there's some discrepancies there. And the veil is getting thinner, that you need to know your memories, because what you're doing now is only an extension of what you did then. You just got to keep perfecting it. Alright, I hope I helped you this week. Press like and subscribe and share this video if you can, and I will see you next week.